Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network itsneworleans.com. Brought to us tonight by Petite Pet Care. While you're at work or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com.
Now, each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a fellow restaurant colleague. Well, tonight, our special guest on Midnight Menu Plus One is Barry Schwartz of My House NOLA. We're going to be speaking to her in just a moment. We're here tonight at Chappie's Restaurant at 6106 Magazine Street next to Monkey Hill Bar, where local food meets relaxed dining, available for private functions with a full cocktail bar, extensive wine list, and over 50 beers in the house. Chappie's also caters memorable events at affordable prices. Give Chappie's a call.
And hey, be sure to come by on Monday nights for their $10 pork chop, collard greens, and cornbread.
That sounds great. What a deal. Hey, did you have any food adventures this week? I'll tell you one of mine. I went to the Cellar Door. Mm-hmm. Have you heard about that place? It's kind of like, I don't know what you call it, like a speakeasy or gastropub or something. It's on Lafayette in the CBD, kind of near the Rouses, the downtown Rouses. Uh-huh. And it's just in this quiet, romantic, kind of like, gas-lit street with no cars parked there. And it's in this old, ancient, historic building. And it just has a little tiny sign, but kind of funky. And you go down this alley through this steel gate, and then it just opens up this world. It's great. It's this really kind of dimly lit, kind of cool bar. But the cocktails were amazing, and food was fantastic. I had the best Brussels sprouts I've ever had, better than Langenstein's. What did I have? I had what was in the pot pie? It was some strange meat that was in the pot pie. It was delicious, whatever it was. Some unusual protein in the pot pie. But anyway, it was fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed it. I recommend it. Hope we can get them on the show sometime because they were fantastic. How about you? What happened to you this week?
Well, I went to a restaurant in the Bywater, and I felt very hip. It was a nice atmosphere. It was
You're
called...
always hip.
I was pretending not to be a soccer mom for the night. It was
Did you
Franklin.
play soccer? You actually play soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, okay. My condolences.
So it was at the Franklin, or Franklin. I don't know if it's the Franklin.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been there yet. How was it?
The atmosphere was great. Nice crowd. The wait staff was delightful, and the food was nice.
All right.
Yeah, really enjoyed
myself. You highly
myself.
recommend it, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And I see you got a book that was sent to us. Is that?
Oh, yes.
Is that Addie Martin's long-awaited book?
Yes, Addie K. Martin and Jeremy Martin that had come on the show.
Two of our best guests ever.
Yep. This book is called Southeast Louisiana Food, a seasoned tradition.
Oh, cool.
And I'm very excited. It's newly out.
All right. Yeah, I've been reading all about this. It's gotten rave reviews. I haven't gotten my own copy yet, but this really looks amazing. Lots and lots of photos, just nicely packaged too. That's great. Well, we'll have to have her back maybe to talk about the book again soon.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I don't want to delay any further. I'm excited. I'm so excited to be having Barry Schwartz of My House NOLA on our show. She's the founder and the face of My House NOLA. It's the go-to production company for culinary events in New Orleans, able to deliver one to multiple food trucks to your next event. Very, very interesting, innovative New Orleans food entrepreneur. Very excited to have you here, Barry. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Now, before we get into the food truck talk, I'd like to know a little bit about you. Where you come from, where you were raised, and a little bit about how you got to New Orleans.
Okay, cool. I'm from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, and I've been in New Orleans for about 4 years. And I sort of came here randomly. A lot of people said there were similarities between New Orleans and Detroit in the way that it's creative, up and coming, sort of a place you want to go to figure stuff out.
High crime,
beautiful. And
musical.
Yeah, musical. And yeah, I've landed here and I really didn't know what I was going to do. I had just graduated from college and I was waitressing at Coquette, and one thing happened after another, and now I've had this company for over 2 years.
Excellent.
Did you know Ruby Block there?
Yeah, I do know her.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, yeah, she was one of the early guests on our show, and she was just getting started.
Oh, when she was a pastry?
Yeah.
Cool. She's great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love her so much, yeah.
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 So how did you transition from working in the restaurant to food trucks?
Yeah.
What interested
So
you?
sort of a weird way. I was working as the food runner, so it's sort of like the worst job you can have. I was just waiting for the bread to get hot, and usually I would burn it and then bring it out to tables and get yelled at. And it was like this funny in between, like the kitchen and the wait staff. It was like a little bit of back of house and a little bit of front of house. And I became really close with a pastry chef at the time her name was Nini. And she actually she's a cook with Dinner Lab. But at the time she was a pastry cook, but she was from New Orleans East and really good with Vietnamese food and her grandma's recipes. And she said she wanted to put on this big dinner. And at the time I lived in this house that put on a ton of events. And I was starting to meet people all over New Orleans. And I said, hey, how about we do it together? You can use my house. I'll promote it. We'll figure out how we pay each other after. Let's do like $15 for all you can eat.
Wow.
And we ended up selling like 60 tickets. And it was really fun. And after that, I just started getting different chefs at Coquette were like, oh, we want to do this with you. We want to do this with you. And so the name was like Welcome to My House, because every time it was a different cook, they would make it their house.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I was sort of trying to figure out how I would transition into something else. I realized I loved food, which I always knew, but I realized I could do something with it. And I always wanted to start my own company. So I thought maybe I would start a brunch truck. And I just started interviewing the trucks that were there at the time, which was really only 3 or 4 food trucks. And yeah, my uncle called me and said I was an idiot and I shouldn't own a food truck, and that I'm really good at putting on events and I should stick to that. And that he lived in Austin and they had a ton of food truck events, and that's sort of how everything started.
Neat.
Yeah.
So you coordinated events. And what was your first event?
My first food truck festival was outside of the pop-ups. Well, have you heard of Good Work Network on Aretha Castle Haley?
No.
They're a really awesome nonprofit that provides technical assistance to minority and women-owned businesses. And they're a really cool resource. And I actually just brought in my business plan to them to help me edit it. And it was sort of this serendipitous thing. They're like, hey, we actually want to hire a consultant. We have this vacant property on O.C. Haley. How about, like, what do you want per hour? Can you do, like, assess the feasibility of a food truck lot? And I was like, whoa, someone's telling me I should do this. So, yeah, it was really perfect. And we put on our first event there with Stacey Head's office in September of 2012. And it went really well. And from there, I just started doing events on my own.
And what it probably was a little more difficult outside of that location, right? How was it to find other locations? Because we've had guests on that have food trucks, and that was one of their obstacles was being able to stay in a location for any amount of time. So
yeah, it's a lot about relationships. The ordinance has changed since I started my company, and for me, none of that really applies to me because I'm getting an event license, basically, which sort of supersedes the law. So as long
It's
as
just a one-time thing.
So as long as someone agrees that they want to do an event with me and I have their permission, then I'm allowed to do that. But where a lot of food trucks do have trouble finding consistent locations, and there's only like a few that all the food trucks know about where they can go.
So actually, in a way,
outside
you're
of.
solving their problem, because if they're having trouble finding good places to park, they don't need it if they're going to events. And so you're actually helping solve the problem.
I would like to think that, but I can only do so many events, and they're all trying to make a living.
Partially.
Yeah, I'm definitely helping and bringing some sort of extra voice to the community, which is cool. Yeah.
So, for example, like I went to a wedding at the Rusty Nail, and it was all food trucks for the food, which was really cool.
Yeah, and we do a lot of that.
Yeah, and so they at the Rusty Nail, or
we've done a bunch of stuff at the Rusty Nail.
Neat. So it was so cool. They just parked like 5 food trucks around the perimeter of it, and sort of that created the barrier. And then they just, people went up and they were able to, get all you can eat from the food trucks or whatever, and the bridegroom had paid for that. And that was kind of a cool, creative way, I thought, to.
Exactly, and that's actually the newest stream of revenue we're working on is we meet with a ton of event planners and venues, and we sort of will be your go-to person because no one getting married wants to plan 5 menus and 5 food trucks, and the wedding planner doesn't really know that much about that. So that's something we're starting to do a lot of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, will you tell us how people get in touch with you, and what size? I mean, can you do an event that is 2 food trucks up to
Anything you want if
I mean,
you have the budget.
How many food trucks are in the city?
We work with over like 20 food trucks, and I hear of new ones coming all the time.
So there's probably a lot more than 20 in the city.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of probably more than 20. Even.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, how many events are you doing?
It varies, but like this month, for example, we just launched the St. Claude Food Truck Lot. It was a 6-week series every Thursday to Saturday. And we also just did this really big event. We've started a series in the CBD for lunch. That's every first week of the month. And we have events in Broadmoor. We do like 3 to 6 events a month.
3 to 6 a month. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So you're staying busy.
Yeah. And we also get hired a lot. Like Dirty Linen Night, we produced the food truck component and got the permits for that. So we do a lot of stuff with that.
So you do all the food trucks through Dirty Linen Night?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many trucks are involved in that?
This year they had 5.
Oh, wow.
On Royal Street, yeah.
Very cool. So they're all clustered together in one spot, and that's sort of like the food court of the
We
event.
actually spread it out all
Okay.
around Royal Street.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Food and Wine Festival, they put it all in like a little food court, which is cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you think this is a fad, or is this going to keep growing? It seems like it's really growing quickly.
Yeah, I think like it's a trend that is practical. So, I mean, for example, a lot of venues in New Orleans don't have kitchens built in. They're really old, and this is something that saves a lot of hassle. They can just pull right up. And I also think in terms of being a small business owner, a food truck is a really easy way to start a business.
It's a lot cheaper to build out a food truck, build a truck into a food truck than it is to remodel or add a kitchen to a to a brick and mortar space, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
It's got to be a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm. And what is so you parked on Royal Street, so you don't need a lot of space. It's not like somebody has to have a lot.
No, definitely not.
And if you get, so if it's an event, is there a difference between like the CBD and St. Claude versus like a neighborhood? Or
I would just say the special event permits can be really hard to get and pricey. And especially if you're in a contentious neighborhood like the CBD, where there's a lot of concentrated restaurants that thrive off of lunch business. And it's just being able to work with them and talk through it and make sure that everyone's okay with what's going on. Whereas on St. Claude, everyone's like, do what you want. We want business down there.
Right.
okay, so what is the thing you're doing in the CBD?
It's called Taste on Common, and it's every first Tuesday to Thursday of the month until April from 11 to 2, and it's at Common and Carondelet, and there's 3 food trucks a day from Tuesday to Thursday, so 9 trucks throughout the week.
Wait, from Tuesday through Thursday?
Yeah, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday lunch.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday lunch.
And we just finished our first week, and it went awesome. And our next one is December 2nd, and you can find everything for Twitter, Facebook, website. It's myhousenola.com.
Now, is this like a full-time living for you? Are you like paying your rent just from this?
Yeah.
Is that working for you? Wow.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, neat. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, like, getting hired by a lot of festivals that are much bigger than what we do to manage the food and the permits is something that's really great. And also brokering catering is something that we're continuing to grow.
Oh, interesting. Well, I see your plus one is here. Why don't you introduce him to us and tell us why you brought him and how you know him?
This is Jordi Figueres, and he is a man of every trade, really, though. He's my mechanic, my graphic designer, my pedicab driver. And yeah, he's awesome. And he's from Spain. That's an important thing that you'll realize really quickly when he starts talking.
Yeah, I don't have any doubts about that. No one's gonna start not understanding anything. I'm gonna try to do my best.
Yeah. So is there anything you don't do?
Yeah, actually there is a lot of things that I don't do. That's another problem, you know.
He's also the best cook ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, is there anything Barry's asked you to do that you're just like, oh, whoa, that's outside my comfort zone?
Well, it's not the comfort zone. It's like she's always keep asking for changes on the website.
Be on the radio.
Be on the radio. There you go. Is this going to get you in trouble? What's your immigration status?
That's what it looks like.
Oops, we're not supposed to ask that. Okay, we got to cut that part out, Chris. Is your work visa like for this particular job? Is that how? I should not press any further.
No, yeah. I have work visa. I'm a legal immigrant here in the States. That's not a thing. That's not a problem.
Did you come here for this particular job, or were you already here?
I came here to study at Tulane, and I was studying at Tulane for the first 2 years. And when I graduated, then I started doing I started working for a startup that it was here in Uptown. It was called River Financial, and it was like a marketplace, a financial marketplace where we were signing loans to people, that we were like crowdfunding loans to business. And after Rebirth, I just started like working by myself, freelancing websites, other kind of technology services, and pedicabbing.
Pedicabbing too.
And pedicabbing too. It's
Wow.
always there. Yes.
Oh, good.
Are you still pedicabbing? You still find the time to do that?
Yeah, and it's super fun to pedicab, and yeah, so I keep doing a couple days at least per week.
That's got to be such a workout.
Yeah, that's the thing,
I can't imagine
I
doing
don't
that.
like to pay for the gym. I just go pedicab.
You make money at your gym.
Yeah, exactly.
They pay you to get a workout.
Yeah. And you always find a lot of interesting people and a lot of fun when you are on the street.
Is there a lot of hawking is that the right word, where you have to like get people to hire you on pedicabs, or are people running after you as you go by?
Well, yeah. So in the pedicab industry, we always ask, like, it's today like a good night or it's a slow night. So when it's a slow night, for sure that you need to hustle, is what we say.
Oh, hustle, okay.
And yeah, when it's like a fast night, we just sit and to the spots where people know that we are there, and they just come and they ask for a ride from point A to point B or something like that. Yeah.
Are you the only ex-loan officer that's doing this? What are some of the other occupations that of some of the pedicab drivers?
Whoa, that's a good question. There is a lot of full-time people, and then I know like people who work in a supermarket, people who work in the NASA.
NASA?
Yeah.
So we got rocket scientists doing this?
You do rockets, and on the side you pedicab.
Wow.
Or probably you pedicab, and then on the side you work in the NASA.
Yeah.
That makes more
The
sense.
person who owns Jordy's pedicab company was in his class at business school at Tulane.
Oh, wow.
And his passion is just like repairing bikes, but now...
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's his passion, but for sure that he loves bikes.
Okay.
What's his name?
Rob Lynch.
Oh.
Okay.
So now, what are some of the other occupations of some pedicab drivers, some of your colleagues?
Yeah, I know that there is like graphic designers,
Yeah.
there's DJs, people who plays guitar or instrumental musicians. There is other tech people, because I know about a guy who assembles computers and all that is related with hardware. So I don't know. There is a lot of people who are looking for like a very freedom job, or a job that they let them to have a lot of freedom and like schedule their time in the way that it's better for them.
You meet any dates on the job?
Oh, wow.
Are you allowed?
Do you have dates?
Yeah, with the customers. Like you can, right?
I think that no one will complain if you date them when you finish your shift.
Yeah. Okay.
You know? I mean,
People try to slap your butt.
yeah, that's all the time. That's
What?
yeah.
All the
yeah.
time? Like how often?
All the time. Look at me. You can see that.
I've never gotten my butt slapped in like 30 years. I would love to get my butt slapped by somebody.
You should come.
Are these
one night.
attractive?
Presbyterian minister
Yeah.
/ petty driver.
Pedicab, you know what? That is not a bad idea. I mean, I was just talking about how I need to lose some weight before the first of the year. I
Here
have
we
a
go.
once a year weigh-in, and I want to be lower than last year. I do. And so this is brilliant. And I get my butt slapped, maybe. Well, I'm not you
Yeah.
though, so maybe not. I don't have the accent.
Let me ask you though, because I took a pedicab and the guy told us that he could not tell us anything about the city because
Oh.
it would be considered
A tour.
A tour.
Oh, come on.
And
Landrew! Oh, man, I can't stand it.
I don't. And
This would
Ray,
never happen under Nagin. I
Ray.
want him back. I want him back.
I think you would not be able to.
No, I wouldn't be able to shut my mouth. I know
Yeah.
I'd constantly be given all kinds of weird trivia.
But he sounds
Is
like
that
a
true?
rule follower.
Him?
No, the pedicab driver.
What's
A
that?
rule follower.
Yeah, like I feel like you would
I think
give
he
a
just
tour.
didn't want to talk to us, to tell you the truth. I think it was bullshit. I was going to ask you, is that true? Are you told that
No,
you're
it's
not supposed to say anything?
No, we are not supposed to. Don't say anything, but we cannot sell tours through the city. So
You can't get paid to get, but if you want to talk, have a conversation.
Well, for example, if you did
wanna-
laps around the same spot over, you're supposed to be transporting people. If you kept going around the same territory with the same customer, giving like
That's
historic
considered a
information,
tour,
that would
yeah.
be a tour, right?
yeah,
But you
Well,
could tell me about the brothel that Ray went to. I'm sorry, not brothel.
Brothel. When did I go to a brothel? How did I
It's
forget
an old,
this?
That the old cellar door, I think, is
Used to be a brothel.
I
Yes,
think
it did.
so.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
But
It's not
could you
anymore.
could you
Least I
give
could
someone a ride and say, "Oh, that building I'm dropping you off at is a historic," and then take them to a food truck event?
well, I'm gonna tell you
Ah,
how I
synchronicity,
do
yeah.
it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I can do it or not, but I'm gonna tell you how I do it.
We're
So
gonna
if someone
get him
comes
kicked
to
out.
me and asks for a tour through the city, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, I'm not a tour guide, I cannot give tour, but if you want, I'm gonna give you a ride through the city where you're gonna see all the sights of the city or all the sightseeing. And then if they bought it, I'm gonna explain like what is our price and how we do it, but I will never sell as a tour.
Okay.
But yeah, once you are sitting in my bike, I always explain as much as I know about the city.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Without, selling myself as a tour guide.
Yes.
But I will say like a friend or whoever's explain, whatever. I'm sharing my knowledge if you want to go like that.
So do you get asked, like, if somebody's looking for lunch, are you welcome to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
my friend Barry is doing food trucks.
Yeah,
Can I?"
absolutely. I feel that, and there is a lot of business who treat us very well just because they want us to bring to them people. So
yeah.
that's another business around it. Well, it's not a business, but it's like a business
Wait, what do you mean
relation.
they treat you very well? Like, what do they do? They
50% off.
Really?
Yeah.
So give me an
Yeah.
example.
Okay, wait. We better. I don't want to get him in trouble.
He'll
Yeah,
be the first.
I
You're
don't
going to be the first guest we ever got in trouble from the show. I think I know of. Yeah.
All right.
Get
Well,
fired, yeah.
let's see. I want to know how y'all met. If
Wait, yeah.
were you petty driving? Were you?
No.
Nope.
We met at a party on New Year's.
Did you slap his butt?
No.
She won it, but she never did.
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
So a mutual friend's party.
Yes.
Yes.
We met at a mutual friend's party, and it was a very boring New Year's dinner. There were like 6 people there, and no one was drinking, and everyone was like about to go home, and it was 11 o'clock. And he walked in with his roommate, and his roommate is almost 7 feet tall and is one of the skinniest people I've ever seen, and they look very funny next to each other. And they walked in, and they were very...
Because Jordy's only 6'8", so there was like a lot of disparity.
They look really hysterical next to each other. You're really cute. And yeah, and
So they livened up the party.
they
or?
livened up the party completely. And we were all gonna go out together, but Jordy got on his bike and went by himself. I don't know where.
Yeah.
Why? Why did you just leave?
Did you have a
I
date?
don't remember, actually. I don't know.
Wow.
I think that
He wasn't
probably
as
was a little
impressed with
drunk.
you as you were with him.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just we were trying to figure out where to go, but you know that when no one's exactly take the decision. So
Yeah.
it was New Year's Eve, and I was like getting nervous. I was like, "Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it?" And at some point, after a couple hours, of waiting for a movement, I just decided to go. And
He's
I mean,
independent.
yeah, it was the first night. I didn't know that many people in there, you know, so I didn't feel that guilty.
So did you forge a working
Well,
relationship
yes.
that night?
He said in his on New Year's that he was gonna have a pork party potluck the next day.
A pork party?
pool party.
A pulled pork party,
pork.
and
A
that
pulled
I
pork
love
party.
food, and that really excited me. So I got his phone number, And the next day I texted him about the pulled pork party, to which he said back, I have no idea what you're talking about.
He didn't remember.
I don't.
I was being a little salesman, I feel, that night. You know?
Just making stuff up.
Well, actually, no. Actually, I was cooking pulled pork, but I never remembered to sell it as a party. You know, I was cooking pulled pork for my roommate, for me, for like 3 more people.
Yeah.
And then when Barry was like, "Are you making a party?" You know, I thought that it was like something big that I kind of sell it, and I got nervous. Like, no,
No party.
it's done. The pulled pork. We already ate it. But yeah.
But then our first time hanging out again, it was my turn to be rude because I told him to meet me at a concert, and it was one of my favorite bands, and it was sold out.
What
and
band?
I said, okay, I'm going to go in. Lucius?
Okay.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
Gasa Gasa. It
Oh,
was
neat,
a
neat.
really good, yeah.
Oh, so you blew him off?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you go there?
He
and
had
then
biked
she was
from
like,
the
"See ya."
Bywater to Ferret Street, and I was like, I already
Wait,
have
he
tickets.
biked from the Bywater to Fred Street, and you just went inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he said, "Yes, this is the woman I want to work for."
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Your parents must be frightened. What are you doing? You come to America, you go to a great college, and you say, "Yeah, I'm going to go work for this woman who like leaves me standing on the sidewalk, and I'm going to ride bikes." Like, are they nervous for you?
Well, I think that they always been nervous, so there's nothing new. But yeah, they can handle that too. I mean,
They're also like,
Wait,
what is
are
our
you-
son doing out of Spain?
Are you still in college?
No, I'm done.
Okay, you graduated?
Yeah.
So if they come visit you?
They can.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
like it here?
Yeah, they love it actually.
Cool,
I
cool.
was a little nervous because they don't speak English, and I think that I don't know, they're very used to traveling in Europe, but not in America. So it's like food, cultural thing, like how everything or this trip is gonna go, and they really love it. So yeah.
Oh. Now, what's your you have a favorite place to eat Spanish food in New Orleans? Now, but by the way, we should preface, like growing up, I always heard Italy and France were the places that everybody said had the best food in Europe, and now the foodies all say, at least it's like cool to say, Spain's the best food in Europe. Spain's best, So I'm sure you're going to agree with that. But like, what is there local, is there Spanish cuisine here that you enjoy? Like, where do you go when you're feeling homesick and you want something that seems familiar?
Yeah.
That kind of comfort food that seems familiar.
Okay, so I really don't have a Spanish place where I go, and
So you don't like any of them, is what you're saying?
I think that there are only like 3 restaurants,
All
or
right.
at least I know 3 of them. One is
One just
Mimi's.
closed.
One is Mimi's.
Yeah, Mimi's, yeah.
That I go there sometimes for little tapas.
Yeah.
Then there is the one in Esplanade, Lola's Cafe.
Oh yeah, Lola's. Yeah.
Lola's. That I've been there, and
I didn't realize that was Spanish.
Yeah. Think so.
yeah. And then there is that one in Carrollton or behind Carrollton that they do paellas.
Yeah, it's gone now. I think you talking about
really?
you about the one next to Nino's in Lebanon.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I may be wrong, but I believe it closed down.
Oh no,
just recently.
you're talking about Cafe Granada that I never
Yeah.
been there. But then there is another one behind like the street mall where there is Supercut.
Oh yeah.
I never been
Oh,
to that one.
Riverbend, over in Riverbend. You're talking about? No,
Yes.
kind of closer to St. Charles,
Yes.
like on Hampson,
yes.
maybe back
yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That
I
place
nev-
is good too.
Really? I never
I
been
thought-
there.
oh, okay.
Yeah, probably.
Well, to me, I don't know. I'm not from Spain.
So actually, when I really want to feel the Spanish, I'm missing it, the Spanish food or drink, I go to Bacanal and I have like a good wine from Spain. Or I go to Mimi's and I have like these little tapas. But that's my favorite restaurant.
I'm trying to find the picture, but I can't. But his friend just visited, and he had like this huge pack, and it was his first time in America. His friend did not speak English, and he got off the plane, and I'm not kidding, took off like half of the pack, and Jordy's mom had sent Jordy a garbage bag full of Spanish cheeses.
Literally had a garbage bag on the plane.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
Full of
like
cheese?
it took up like half his luggage, and we were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you decided to do this. That's so nice." He was like, "No, Jordy's mom is just really bossy, and she made me do it."
Wow.
That's true. Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yes, it's legal with the cheese. It's illegal with the ham. So I'm not asking anymore to any of my friends to bring me ham because I used to do it, but then on the border, they just throw it away in front of your eyes, and that's
What's
not
the difference
cool.
between ham and cheese?
One is cured meal.
There's
Meat.
certain products, yeah.
Meat is in general harder than.
Well, it's meat that it's raw meat. It's dry, but it's raw. It's been
It's
cooked.
okay.
So-
It's like cured but not
Yeah,
cooked.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's really hard to to send through the border or to import here in America. There is like a very strict regulations for this kind of product. And the cheese, it's much more easier, so you don't have any problem.
Okay.
Now, what part of Spain are you from?
I'm from the north of Barcelona,
Okay.
between Barcelona and French, on the coast.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from a small town, but I've been living in Barcelona for the last 10 years before I moved here. So, yeah. Girona, Barcelona.
All right.
So are your parents into food or is it just cultural, or do you cook are you a fine food
I always
cook?
like to cook. I like to learn a lot of things by myself, and I always like it to cook and to keep improving and to try new things. So, to answer your question, no, my mom or my dad are not very much into food. My mom is a teacher, and my dad used to work in a bank. But I have a couple people in my family that they are like chefs.
I
So-
feel like that's such
Oh.
a cultural difference, though. Like, because I would say my mom and dad aren't into food, but they literally like buy canned meat and canned tomato sauce. But whereas you're like, my mom's been canning, and you
Oh,
show me
no,
a
yeah.
picture of your dad going mushroom picking. I'm like, that's into
That's into food.
Well, the people that aren't into food in Spain are way more into food than the
Yeah.
people that are in America sometimes. Yeah.
That's true. My house
yeah.
is very beautiful when you sit
Yeah.
down at the table
Yeah.
and everything. It's harbor inside the
Well, I just
house.
think everybody in Western Europe eats way better than the Americans do for the most part too. We're still trying to catch up. We were so into practicality and everybody just gushed about frozen vegetables for generations and stuff too. My generation just sucked. But now being an international, probably one meal that you miss. Well, maybe you don't. But do you get to? Have you had a lot of home cooked like Thanksgiving meals in people's homes?
Actually, yes.
Oh, good. Okay, because I was going to suggest Barry take you back to Detroit for one.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Are you
yeah.
going home for Thanksgiving?
I am. I'm so excited.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like everybody I know under 30 goes home for Thanksgiving.
And then
in
you
this town.
stop after 30.
Yeah. Yep.
Worries?
I know. Our church is like 1/3 the size of Thanksgiving Sunday because
Really?
everybody's young and they all go home.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it just sucks. I hate it.
Barry,
I'm
is
left
your
here.
family going to make canned?
I'm gonna make
Turkey?
it.
Okay.
When I go home, I cook.
Wow.
I
Oh,
can't.
really?
My family, last time I was home, I bought garlic, and my mom had no idea how to open it or what to do with it.
Wow, like
Thank
a
God
clove
she
of
doesn't
garlic.
live here, and she's not listening to this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, she can listen to this. This is like
I won't tell her
Okay,
to.
don't tell her.
Yeah, the garlic. She didn't know what to do.
She doesn't know what it is. Wow.
Y'all, we have come to the part of the show called Off the Menu, and it is the part where we ask you questions that you wouldn't be asked on a job interview. Maybe something crazy as a pedicab driver, but I don't think you would be asked these questions in a applying for school at Tulane or But
Cool.
so Barry, I have a question for you, and
Yeah.
this is very serious
I'm ready.
business.
Okay.
No. What would you rather? And this comes from my 8-year-old. Sorry,
Okay, great.
I'm warning you.
At
Okay,
least
what
snow
would
won't be
you
dirty.
rather?
That's good.
Could be.
What would you rather drink? Puddle water from Bourbon Street after a food truck event, or toilet water?
Definitely toilet water.
Definitely
doubt.
toilet water.
Definitely toilet
At least you know what
water.
you're getting.
Toilet water?
Definitely, like for sure. I feel like if I step in toilet water, I don't freak out. But if I step in one of those puddles, I actually get like my whole body chilled.
Yeah, you have to amputate that foot.
Yeah.
Mikvah bath or something after that. That's like
Yeah.
gotta fix that foot. Wow.
You're a
Okay.
real Jew.
Yeah, I know a few things. So, okay, Jordy, I got one for you. What's a typical American food that you still haven't tried yet since you've been here? Like you've never had pizza, you've never had hamburger or something like that. What's something that would shock our listeners to hear that you've been here? How many years now?
4.
4 years. What's something that you haven't tried?
The banana frosts.
I've never had a banana frost too. What are you
I
talking
don't know
about?
what a banana
I don't know
frost
what that is.
Oh, Bananas Foster. Yes. Oh, okay, now that's criminal. Banana
right.
Foster we don't care about. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, you haven't had a Bananas Foster?
No.
What is wrong with you? That was invented here in New Orleans.
I know,
too.
that's the thing. I have a lot of tourists that they ask me about the best restaurant for a banana foster.
You just hate bananas or what?
I don't know. All the restaurants that I go, they are never in the dessert. So, or I don't know. I never had one.
All right, make that your goal this week.
All right.
All right. That's gonna become your new nickname to me when I see you.
Foster.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna
I
be
want to
Banana
know: is
Foster.
there any food that your close friends or Barry just loves, and you pretended to like it, an American food that, or you thought it was nasty, but it's pretty common?
Whoa. Can I ask? Can you?
I know.
Okay,
Like,
what
for
is something
example,
you've
I had
tried
an
that is
African
like
friend
yuck?
who, when she got here, had lobster, or somebody tried to give her lobster, and it freaked her out. It's like eating a big cockroach. If you don't grow up with it, to us, it's second nature. Like, oh, this is delicious. But she'd never seen something like that. It was just horrific. It was like a monster on her plate, and it really did a number on her. Anything like that?
Well, yeah, but I understand the Proud Berry doesn't. I mean, I'm a big fan of pig feet and Turkish necks.
Pig's feet. I've never had pig's feet.
Pig's feet, pretty good.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
something you really
Turkey
don't
necks?
get is how I eat cottage cheese with everything.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Wow, I don't get that either.
Yeah, I just put it with fruit or honey. I don't get it with sriracha.
Both of those things actually sound great.
I like it with tuna fish.
Oh! Leave. Wow, that's horrible. Both those things are
I
awful.
know, but for some reason, my mom, when I was
The only
growing
thing worse
up,
than tuna fish is tuna fish with cottage
well,
cheese.
this is really gross. My mom used to cut open a cantaloupe and spoon out the seeds, and then put tuna fish and cottage cheese in the middle.
What?
And I would eat them all together.
Don't go there for Thanksgiving. Don't do it.
I was really skinny. It's like a very healthy thing.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go on the cantaloupe tuna
That should be
fish
your
diet.
diet before New Year's.
That is hysterical.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That could be your first book, your first diet book.
Yeah, why not?
Everybody will lose weight on that. No one will want to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have all the tuna fish and cantaloupe you want, as long as you have them together.
Exactly.
Which cottage
wait,
cheese?
this is maybe too personal, but
What?
do you two see each other or different people? Are you? Is that
Whoa.
because I mean these are kind of interesting things. I don't know how you would know about her cottage cheese and tuna.
Oh, we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a political answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can see other people.
He's looking at us right now.
Okay. Well, they're both blushing, so I have a feeling that that's going down. I mean. Okay. All right. Let's not go there.
All right.
So,
secret.
Barry, let me interrogate you a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, what kind of house did you live in that had events? I mean, that sounds like a really fun place to live.
Well,
when
actually,
you're introduced to New Orleans.
It's a very interesting thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called the Moishe House, and it's an international Jewish organization that gets funding internationally. It's in almost every country in the world, and basically the Jewish community is trying to create a home base for people in their 20s who are living somewhere where they're not from. And so we get half of our rent off in order to put on 6 events for the Jewish community a month. So that's what I lived in. And
Wow.
it was awesome. It was on Constance and Washington. And I had 3 roommates, and they stipended our rent and gave us a program budget. And we put on a bunch of different events for the Jewish community.
Oh, that's
and it
right
was
near where you work, too.
specifically for
That's right
the
behind
Jewish
us. Okay, yeah,
community?
cool.
I mean, like,
Yeah. Well, it's open to the public, but yeah, it's focused on Jewish community.
That's a lot of events. How do you get that many Jews to go to events? That's a lot.
Yeah, it's actually, it ended up sometimes like
were
just
some of the
being that.
events?
I mean, we would go to see speakers. We would have Shabbat dinner. We would have cook-offs. We would have.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Was it worth the half off your rent?
Definitely.
Oh,
I
man.
paid like $250, and like our program budget means I usually had groceries for the whole month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and now the Moishe House currently is on Dauphine and Esplanade, and it's super beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And it's a great way to create community.
Yeah,
and
it really worked.
Now, were other people living there like you, like new to New Orleans?
Yeah. It's mostly people who aren't from New Orleans who are relatively new. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Fun.
It was really fun. It was very interesting. And it's definitely like, I had a lot of people who are like local New Orleanians, African American, who were like working in the kitchen at Coquette, and they would come to Passover dinner and like learn about everything. It was really cool. Yeah.
You do a circumcision on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Bris.
Exactly.
Do you know what this is? You'll find out.
Exactly.
So you probably have not done a pulled pork event there.
I thought you were going to say you're probably not circumcised.
Oh, that's what I thought you were going to say, too. He was getting nervous. I think he thought that, too. He was getting nervous.
Y'all can't handle a little asking if you're seeing other people. I wasn't going to go there. I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
know. I've
embarrass
seen you
the
do
man.
worse. I've seen you do worse.
Yes, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
But is there a large Jewish community in where you're from? Or any? Did you grow
No.
up with any?
No, yeah.
Yeah, zero.
I was close to be sarcastic, but no.
Yeah, I think Isabella and Ferdinand took care of that.
Well,
right?
that's the funniest thing is
in the 1400s, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the funniest thing is his
was nothing to laugh
hometown
about,
is
by the way.
where
I'm
like
sorry
all
for
the
the people in
Jewish
the
people
1400s.
go.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, really?
His hometown is rooted in like the most historical Jewish history. So like, it's like all the tourists are like 60 and over Jewish people.
What?
From like America. Which is just
Why?
Yeah, that's true.
Why?
Why what?
It's like
What's
Florida.
the history?
So
What's
the history is like it's a city. It's one of the main cities of Catalonia. That is a region of Spain.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a small, and it was like a big Jewish community there. And at some point, I want to say that I don't know. I mean, they kicked out the Jews, if you want to say like that. And right now, there is a lot of architectonic heritage and a lot of Jewish things in the city. It's very
cool.
beautiful. And there is like a lot of tourists that they come from here from America just to visit the city and see like the roots and like the history and things like that.
Wow, I
Neat.
hadn't heard of this before.
Yeah.
Now that brings up a point. So you're in Catalonia there. Okay, so are you for the Catalonian independence or not?
Yeah, I don't know
You
if
are?
you're here. We voted yesterday after.
Yeah, that's what I heard about. Okay,
yeah.
so wait, did you get to vote? Absentee?
No. Actually, I have few friends that they are living here in America. That they are from Catalonia and they had the chance to vote. But me, it was not an option to vote from here, from New Orleans. So I need to fly to San Francisco or to New York.
Oh, there's certain embassies set up
Yes.
places. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
We don't have a Spanish consulate here.
Actually, I don't think that it was about the consul. I think that it was like volunteers, and like to be subscribed, with time in advance to like all this votation process. But it was nothing here in New Orleans, so I didn't vote.
How'd the vote turn out? Do we know yet?
Yes, the day of today, it's like 80% in favor of yes, of succeed from Spain.
80%?
Yes.
That's like, in Ireland they haven't had anything like that.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
crazy.
But there is the concern that not many people went to vote. What it means that I hear that over 2 million went to vote, but the total population
2 million?
Yes.
Right, because the whole population of Spain is what, like 38 million, something like that?
Yes, but
So that's a big area then,
So the
huh?
population of Spain, of Catalonia, it was over 5 million.
Okay,
so
okay.
it's a little less than 50%.
Right.
And we were asking like more than 50% for being these votations.
Yeah, but I'm saying 5 million out of like 40s, that's like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of Spain.
Yes. But I mean,
It's like 1/8.
Yeah, it's 1/8, but yeah.
I'm
And
very
it's
good
a
at sixth
half.
grade
I
math.
got that, yeah.
Aren't you impressed I knew the population of Spain off the top of my head?
Yeah,
I didn't look that up. Was I right?
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
around
trick.
40.
That's one of my tricks I have. But back to Barry.
Yes. So, did you grow up Jewish, and is that why you know about it and affiliated with the Moishe House? Or is
Yes, I did go to a Jewish high school.
She's faking it for the
in
rent
Detroit.
break.
My roommate did do that actually.
What?
For like 1 month. It was a very temporary roommate.
She was like Irish and she pretended to
well,
be Jewish?
his name was Morgan Wolf, and it was a
Wolf.
very yeah.
Nice.
I know him.
You just outed him on this, though.
It's fine. He lives in Nicaragua now. He
No,
doesn't
he
care.
doesn't
Yeah. But yeah, I grew up very culturally Jewish.
And what was that like in Detroit?
So this Detroit is like one of the most segregated places in the United States, with like one of the wealthiest Jewish communities in the United States, and also one of the biggest Arab populations outside of the Middle East.
Right.
And it's a really interesting place to
Dearborn
grow
is
up.
like the
Yeah.
Arab capital of America. I think, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In my town where I'm from, it sort of exists only in my town, but there's this population called Chaldeans, which are Christian Iraqis from
Yes.
Chaldea, Iraq.
Yeah, I know about them.
Yeah, a lot of people do not, so that's awesome. And they so
all
like
kinds
where
of
I'm from
pieces
is like
to be.
Jewish and Chaldean, and that's it. And we're actually very similar cultures.
I
Like
was going to say you probably look a lot alike, too,
everyone
right?
thgot I was Chaldean.
I was gonna
growing
say,
up.
yeah, you
it's-
got you
and
look a little
it's
Sephardic maybe or whatever,
super,
yeah.
Like they call their grandparents like boaters, like right off the boat. It's like very similar to Jewish people in America like 2 generations ago. They're awesome. So yeah,
Well, what's the name of the town? Did you
West
say?
Bloomfield, Michigan.
West Bloomfield. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. All right. So how often do your parents come visit?
Like once or twice a year, and I meet them on trips a lot.
Yeah. I mean, your mom probably has a hard time finding cantaloupe, tuna fish with cottage cheese on the menu.
It's true.
So it's got to be rough on her to come here.
It's true.
Not a lot of canned meats here for her and all that.
Yeah, the food's too good for her,
or too bad, depending
or
on your...
too bad.
Now, what's the Chaldean food like? Is it
Oh,
like
it's so
hummus and like
good.
whatever? Or is
Yeah.
it something...
A lot of grape leaves. It's very,
Oh.
very Middle Eastern. It's
Oh, cool.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really
So you got to
good
have a lot
cooks.
of those restaurants in town where you grew
Definitely.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that food. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, has anyone come to move? Has anyone come to visit and loved New Orleans so much and decided to stay because you've shown them a good time?
I've actually convinced 4 friends to move here since I moved here.
Excellent.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I'm going to get on my soapbox again. If 1 out of 2 people currently living in New Orleans were able to convince a friend to move here, that's all we would need to have the population of New Orleans be not only much higher than it was before Katrina, but higher than it was before white flight into the suburbs in the 70s, before everybody
Interesting.
ran to Jefferson Parish and the North Shore. It would be pretty close to its peak in all of history if just 1 out of 2 people got one. You got 4.
So I have
you did
2
the work of like 8.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Are they
Keep
all
it up.
working for you or
No.
Well, that's even better if you get an
no.
employment. Well,
That'd be great.
we're running out of time, and I just want to ask you what's next with your business and with the food truck, sort of culture, or your
Yeah.
business specifically, or whatever. We only have a couple minutes left, so
Cool. Well, next Tuesday is Eat More in Broadmoor at the Rosa Keller Library, and
cool.
it'll be really fun. It's a great event. We have this awesome band called Shotgun Double playing. They're awesome. And then the Taste Uncommon will start up again December 2nd. And besides that, we're really just working on a lot more of private events and getting hired to coordinate the food component of different events around the city. And things are going really well, and we're going to continue to keep growing.
Great. Well, I'm very excited. This is good to know. This is a great resource for people to know too.
Yeah,
Because a lot of folks say, "Oh, I'd love to get a food truck." I had a food truck at a party. We had somebody for the birthday at my house, and it was kind of hard to know how to contact and whatever. And you could be you're the entry point for the whole food truck
Exactly.
culture for people. You can be.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell us about your website.
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
page, whatever, any other kind of contact information people need to have.
Yeah, so website designer is Jordy Figueres, and it's www.myhousenola.com, and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have a really great Instagram where we talk about a lot of restaurants in the city, and we do a lot of pictures of food. So that's a good one. It's at myhousenola.
At My House NOLA.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
and
thank you so much.
Jordy,
Yeah.
do you have anything that you would like to plug, like a website for your web business or any?
You know what's
any
the problem? I never have time for my website.
Okay.
And it's a little shame to say it, but I'm going to say it. The name of the website is Power by Fix.
Power by Fix.
He loves
Yeah.
figs, the fruit.
figs.
Yeah.
.com.
Powered by figs.
Oh, powered by Figs. Excellent.
He
Like
loves
your
figs.
pedicab. That could be for the pedicab business too. I mean, powered by Figs.
That's true. That you wouldn't have the steam to be able to ride people around without the figs you're eating.
His
Wow.
Facebook is like figs from space.
The figs from space.
Yeah.
You are an interesting person.
Oh, he's gonna have
Figs.
hundreds of people after tonight.
Oh, yeah.
trying to
People are gonna be bringing you
Facebook
figs.
friend
It's
him.
in Spanish, it's fine.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so say it one more time. Where we want to send people?
Powered by Figs.
Powered by Figs.
Yeah.
Okay. .com.
.com.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a delight.
Thank you.
Our guests tonight have been Barry Schwartz of My House NOLA and Jordi Figueres, also of My House NOLA and also of poweredbyfigs.com. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you to our sponsors.
Petite Pet Care and Chappie's.
Chappie's our host.
Yes.
Yep, come by for the pork chop night on Mondays. 5 to 9, $10. Good deal. Okay, well, good night. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Margot Moss, Grant Morris, and me, Ray Kanata. Our technical director is Chris Keogh.
You can find photos from tonight's show on our website, itsneworleans.com. On itsneworleans.com, you can also check out our blog. You can listen to lots more episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, including Out to Lunch, Happy Hour, True to the Game, and Mindset.
You can hook up with me and Margot anytime by following Midnight Menu Plus One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also Google Midnight Menu Plus One, and we come right up.
The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to us by PreSonus Audio. For more information about PreSonus recording equipment, go to presonus.com.
Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For all of us here at Midnight Menu Plus One, thanks for joining us. I'm Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margot Moss. We look forward to seeing you back here next week on Midnight Menu Plus One.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.